Good evening, my friends, my family, and even my enemies. We are live. This is Live Free or Die. And I'm your host, King Eli, king of all alternative news on your Manhattan neighborhood network. This is the People's Network, where we, the people, get to exercise our First Amendment right, freedom of speech and freedom of press. And, we also get to express our redress of grievances against our government, especially our the criminal element of our government. And with that, we will get started with news, alternative news. I remind you, we do not cover the mainstream scumbag loaded sheeple news of MSNBC, Fox, and CNN. You'll get only InfoWars, Drudge Report, and naturalnews.com news here. And we'll get started with a history of false flags. All right, and why the government should be the first suspect in any terror attack. And we're just going to run through an article from InfoWars.com here from this great magazine. As you can see, I subscribe. It's great alternative news, okay, people? All right, let's just run through a history of false flag attacks. First of all, a false flag attack is when a government attacks itself and then blames it on another country or another group or person. So this way they can do whatever the hell they want. I don't know. For instance, Nero and the Great Fire of Rome. The Roman Council of historian Cassius Dio, the contemporary Centurius, and the others say that Emperor Nero was responsible for the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD. Legend claims Nero had 1/3 of the city torched as an excuse to build Dominus Aurori, a 300-acre complex that included a towering statue of himself, the Colossus of Nero. So basically, Nero torched his own city in Rome and blamed it on the Christians so that he can build a new section of the city. Yes, all right. Another example of a false flag attack was the Spanish-American War. Remember the Maine. By the late 1800s, the United States was looking for an excuse to kick Spain out of Cuba. U.S. businesses was heavily invested in sugar, tobacco, and iron on the Caribbean island. The USS Maine was sent to Havana in January of 1898 to protect these businesses' interests. After a local insurrection broke out, 3 weeks later, earlier on the morning of February 15th, an explosion destroyed the forward third of the ship anchored in Havana's harbor, killing more than 270 American sailors. Well, anyway, it turns out that the United States blew up the boat itself and blamed it on Cuba, or Spain, actually, excuse me. This is also how the island of Puerto Rico got taken over. Remember the Maine. They blew up the Maine, and the Americans came and conquered all these Spanish islands. That's why I'm American, actually. That's interesting. Should I be thanking that false flag? I don't know. But anyway, remember the Maine. That was a false flag attack. But if you actually look into the history of Puerto Rico, not to digress, but who is the guy? Abiza, Pedro Abizo, is it? No, Campos, Abizo Campos. Yes, the guy. This guy was a true Puerto Rican revolutionary. You got to look into him. Pedro Abizo Campos, I believe his name is. It's a shame I don't know more about him, but this guy was a real patriot. They didn't attack like the so-called Timothy McVeigh did, a federal government building where children were in. No, they went straight to the head of the snake. They went and raided the House of Congress. And yeah, they were arrested and thrown in jail. But, you know, real patriots don't attack innocent people. So don't believe that hype when, you know, it eventually comes out. But anyway, another false flag attack. Hitler's fascist dictatorship, the Reichstag fire. In February of 1933, a month after convincing Germany's president that the Nazis instigated the Reichstag fire, Hitler urged President Hindenburg to issue an emergency decree restricting personal liberty, including the right to free expression and free press, limitations of the rights of association and assembly, warrantless searches of homes, property confiscation, and violations of postal, telegraphic, and telephonic communications, permissible beyond the legal limits otherwise prescribed. The Nazis used the decree to crack down on their political opponents. They worked behind the scenes to force through the Enabling Act, which legally allowed Hitler to obtain preliminary powers and established dictatorship. Gestapo Reichstag Marshal Hermann Göring would admit to the people can always be brought to the bidding of their leaders. That is easy. All you have to do is tell them they are being attacked and denounced by the pacifists for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger. It works the same way in any country. Does that remind you of anything that's going on today? It sure the hell reminds me. 9/11, for instance. 9/11 was an inside job. You people should know that, as I wear this great shirt proudly around the city. All my coworkers at work call me crazy. But that's okay, because they are in fact waking up, especially when I tell them to look into tower number 7. Building number 7 collapsed in its own footprint in 6.6 seconds. You can hear the booms and explosions right before the building collapsed. You can see the top of the penthouse cave in on itself. I mean, you got over 3,000 architects and engineers who say that, you know, this was an implosion. They were. Who knows what the hell happened? If they used sticks of dynamite or some futuristic microwave radon weapon or whatever. But that building, put it this way: the engineers and scientists say that you could have flown 10 planes into those 2 buildings, and they would have not collapsed the way they did. They should have toppled over or some other nonsense like that. But anyway, yeah, 9/11 is another inside job. Also, you got a bunch of other false flag. Operation Northwoods targeting American citizens in a covert war against the communist regime in Cuba. Under the CIA's Operation Mongoose, the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff proposed state-sponsored acts of terrorism inside the United States. The plan included shooting down hijacked American airplanes, the sinking of U.S. ships, and the shooting of Americans on the streets of Washington, D.C. The outrageous plan even included the staged NASA disaster that would claim the life of astronaut John Glenn. Reeling under the embarrassing failure of the CIA's botched Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba, President Kennedy rejected the plan in March of 1962. A few months later, Kennedy denied the plan's author, General Lyman Lemonster, a second term as the nation's highest-ranking military officer, basically said this. And in November of 1963, Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas, as of course you know. I believe this is 6 months after he signed Executive Order 111110, basically abolishing the Federal Reserve. Last president who tried to do that before Kennedy was Abraham Lincoln. So when you go after Federal Reserve and the British banksters, they will straight up kill you, even if you are president. So death to the Fed, death to the New World Order. We got to end the Federal Reserve and fight fire with fire. You want to kill my leaders? Well, then watch out, buddy. Anyway, another false flag attack. Gulf of Tonkin, phantom attack on the U.S. military. Yes, the Gulf of Tonkin was on August 4th, 1964. President Lyndon Johnson went on national television and told the nation that North Vietnam had attacked U.S. ships. This is what led us into the Vietnam War, when in fact we attacked our own ship, and we blamed it on the North Vietnamese. And that whole thing was a scandal. So I believe more than 50,000 Americans died in that war. POWs probably still there or dead. POWs were left behind. Anyway, moving on to the next false flag. Actually, we got the number out. Give me a call. We are live. 212-860-3583. It is May 11th, and the number is 212-860-3583. I would like to hear the viewer's opinion, and if you have any stories of false flags of your own, please call and chime in. All right. Next false flag attack, the 93 World Trade Center bombing. Yes, if you do not know, the FBI planted information on Imad Salim, who was actually Egyptian CIA, and he was supposed to hand off these bombs to Ramzi Youssef, and basically the guy, Imad Salim, the Egyptian CIA equivalent guy, knew he was being set up. So what he did was he wiretapped the FBI. He wiretapped the FBI, and in these phone calls, he got the FBI to admit that they gave up real bombs with real detonators, and he was very concerned about this. So actually, in the New York Times actually wrote about this as well, that the FBI built the bomb that blew up the World Trade Center in 1993. So that's a false flag right there. All right, apparently we have a phone call, so let's get to it. Caller, you are on the air.
Hello?
Hello, you are live. What's on your mind, brother?
Oh, yeah, anyway, yes. Yo, you're talking about all these false flag attacks and stuff, and I guess we haven't seen last of it, so even though we haven't had any yet, but I know the Boston is one of them.
That's what I was just going to tell you, Steve. What do you mean yet? In Boston, we got slammed over there. We'll be covering that as well.
Exactly. That was all an inside job and everything. They knew, and I think I've been hearing rumors that that could have been like a drill or something that they want to keep us.
There was definitely a drill going on in Boston. We got photos of Navy SEALs at the event with the Navy SEAL 3 hat. Did you notice anything of your own, Steve, about Boston?
Oh, yeah,
anything
they
weird?
kind of fishy with that, because remember, no foreigners will come over to do all this stuff. It has to be done right here inside the U.S. soil. And people don't think, people are thinking that your own government can kill its own people. First of all, y'all have no idea what your government is capable of doing. And this is when we have to really wake up and see what's going on. We are living in a police state right here. And all this is going to mean is going to be even tighter on where we're living. All our constitution rights are almost gone. Like,
that's right.
People are willing to give up their constitutional right just to be safe. And really, what you're doing, you're selling your life away.
Absolutely. And what I was just showing to the viewers, Steve, are these photos that were leaked by 4chan, the hacker, and it shows that the military contractors in the SEAL Team 3 at the spot, or a few feet away from the spot where the explosion went off. It shows them there before the explosion, and they moved away, coincidentally, right before the bomb went off. And yes, and then they also show a FBI bomb squad truck roll up, and they disappear with the FBI into the bleachers or something. So, anyway, the whole thing is damn fishy.
It's a hoax. It's definitely a hoax.
There was definitely a drill going on. Sandy Hook is a hoax. What do you think about Sandy Hook?
Oh, I'm not even surprised, because I think HAARP may have something to do with that also. Because remember, they can even control weather, and they're doing a heck of a good job doing it.
HAARP controlled Sandy Hook. I don't know about that, but that's a very interesting theory.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And people, I think they really need to dig into it. And I think you got other conspiracy theorists digging into HAARP and everything, because they're saying that HAARP can do other things as well too, like making all these strange pictures in the sky and all that.
Well, yeah, we got the chemtrails, we got all of that.
Then you got Project Beam.
Yeah, Project Blue Beam. That's right.
Yep. Like you were telling me about that, that can look like Christ was walking on water, and people are going to idolize that and all that.
Absolutely. All right, Steve. Well, I appreciate the call. We got another call on the line. Let's get to it. Caller, you are on the air.
Yo, what's up, dog? DBZ from the lower. What's good?
What's going on, man? Talk to me.
Yo, did you hear about that? The 25th member of Navy Team, Navy Team 6.
SEAL Team 6.
Yeah, he committed suicide a couple weeks ago.
Really? Go figure.
Yeah,
well,
he was the one that did it. Yeah, they would say he's the one that shot Osama.
Is this the same guy who wrote the book?
Nah, I don't know.
Or that was saying that the government wasn't compensating him?
Yeah, it could be. I don't know, man.
Because I knew they
him.
blew up. I know they blew up about half of SEAL Team 6 on a helicopter a couple of months after they supposedly killed Osama bin Laden, who was in a CIA hospital in 1998 in Saudi Arabia under. He had a kidney disease that he could not live more than 5 years with. But apparently they got him in this little hut in Pakistan with no dialysis machines and no medical equipment, even though, like I said, he had kidney disease. What's your thought on that?
Wow, that's funny, man. They whacking them off one by one, huh?
Yeah, it's like Private Jessica Lynch when she got held hostage in Iraq. They came up with this whole damn story, and it was all a lie. It was all a lie. And five of the army personnel that she was with ended up dead. One of them, he was grilling at a barbecue, and a guy came out in a black mask and popped him twice in the back of the head in front of his whole damn family. But because he was basically exposing the truth that Jessica Lynch did not put up a fight, and the Iraqis were not torturing her. Okay, and they basically had control of the whole situation. It was an army ploy, a psyop to get women into the army.
Yo, man, have you watched that show called Unsealed Conspiracy Files? It'd be on Channel 11. You ever peep it?
No, but I'm getting a nod here from my friend here, and I haven't caught it.
Yeah, it's a good show. It'd be on tonight about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, I think.
Yeah.
It exposes like conspiracies that the governments be doing. They got one I was watching earlier about how the Navy fleet is battling UFOs in some kind of fucking war they talking about. Some kind of secret war against other planets, some bullshit like that. I don't know if it's true or not, but it looks kind of believable.
No, it's interesting. They had a character on YouTube, Phil Schneider, and he talked about the Great Underground Alien War of 1979, and he claims there are 9 alien races out there: the Greys, the Reptilians, and so on and so on. Me personally, I gotta see it to believe it. My mind is open to all things. I don't know. Do you believe in the ETs?
Yeah, of course, man. If we're here, what makes you think anybody else ain't out there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big universe.
No
I mean,
no doubt. All right, my man. I'll talk to you next
All
week.
right, man. I appreciate the call, brother.
All right, holla.
Yep. All right. Well, there you have it. Also, let's talk about, I believe I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but Family Guy episode predicted Boston Marathon attack. And Seth MacFarlane calls you a moron if you talk about this. He says, no, this isn't true. But then Fox pulls the episode and all the other websites. So apparently this is true. He claimed that the clip that they put up on YouTube was taken from 2 different episodes, when in fact it was taken from the same episode, Turban Cowboy, at 2 different scenes in the episode, but it was in fact taken from the same episode where Peter joins up with the Tea Party Al-Qaeda terrorist and blows up the Boston Marathon. They set off 2 bombs. This episode was aired on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. Go figure. All right. Senate passes Monsanto Protection Act, granting Monsanto power over U.S. government. Yes, the Monsanto Protection Act is passed in the Senate, effectively gives the GMO shoving corporation power that the U.S. government cannot even top. So basically, the Monsanto has power over our own U.S. courts and government. All right, my printer was down this week, go figure. So I'm going to be covering some articles from my smartphone here, and coincidentally it started breaking down right when I started to print this article. The war on 3D printing begins. Yes, as a matter of fact, it was inevitable. A technology like 3D printing that essential puts cheap labor manufacturing and retail all in the same place. Basically, it goes on and on about how 3D printing is the new revolutionary thing that's going to come out, because apparently this guy came out with a gun that he made off of 3D printing. And the U.S. government came and shut him down immediately as soon as I think they did a YouTube video of showing him firing the gun. So right after that happened, they came and ordered it shut down. But the problem is you're not going to stop this from going out. Already 100,000 people have downloaded this 3D gun. And it's like music. You cannot stop the piracy of music. Okay, so you're not gonna stop this 3D technology of printing guns. And I advise all people to download this 3D gun and learn how to build guns, learn how to use guns, take gun classes, and learn gun safety, because it is our Second Amendment right. It is the teeth to our Constitution. As a matter of fact, my 7-year-old son, loves guns, and when he grows up, he says he wants to be a gun builder. So he wants to be a gunsmith. So yeah, I'm very proud of him. We're actually going to go out on the rally on July 4th, God willing, where Adam Kokesh from Adam versus the Man says he's going to march from Arlington Memorial Cemetery into D.C., past the White House and the Capitol, fully armed and locked and loaded. Yes, over 3,000 people have signed up already, and the D.C. District of Criminals Police Chief, this hermaphrodite, states that she will arrest us all. So I will be there. I don't know if I will be armed at this point, but I will definitely have my camera, and we will document the whole thing, God willing. So yes, let's move on to my next article here. Remember, people, we are live. You can give me a call, 212-860-3583. We got about 8 or 7 minutes left. So give me a call. All right, next article here is Democrats dream of permanent Obama White House. Oh, yes. Military dictatorship more likely than Democrats repealing the 22nd Amendment. Yes, there is talk amongst the Democrats being that Hillary Clinton has been crucified over the Benghazi incident. It's so sad. Of Obama having a third term, such as Michael Bloomberg. Basically, they're going to abolish or plan to abolish the Second Amendment and try to give Obama a third term. Because, like I said, the whole Benghazi incident basically crucified Hillary Clinton, where she takes full responsibility, she admits, of the assassination of Ambassador Stevens, who was assassinated because he sold, I believe, 10,000 Stinger missiles, or maybe gave them, Al-Qaeda, 10,000 Stinger missiles that are eventually going to end up here in the United States. And possibly they're going to shoot down our airliners. So, yes. And here we go. Another article. Congresswoman, Obama gave Benghazi stand-down order. Yes, a congresswoman. Let's see what her name is. Ann Wagner from Missouri directly blamed President Obama for ordering the stand-down, which facilitated the assault on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi. Yes. They needed Ambassador Stevens dead because he was a witness to all the sales of firearms, you see. Oh, where's my other article? I lost it. All right. I cannot find my other article. But anyway, yeah. You can also write me at my P.O. box we got over here at P.O. Box 37, 432 East 14th Street. Actually, this P.O. Box will be closing down because the post office is closing down on 14th Street right there. Yes, they're due to close down February of 2014, this post office on 14th Street. So who knows if I will even have my P.O. Box up. Yes, you see how well the government runs businesses. They're closing down all over the place. We need to bring small business back to the United States. We need to bring gun manufacturing to the United States and support our Second Amendment and local gun manufacturers. Because while Bloomberg attacks all the gun manufacturers in Virginia and everywhere else here in the States, he holds investments in Austria in the foreign gun manufacturers. Because where do you think the NYPD gets all of their Glocks? From Austria, okay? They don't get them from here. This is why Bloomberg goes after the local gun shops, okay? It's all about profit with Bloomberg. Bloomberg is a tyrannical, evil son of a bitch, okay? And if you happen to run into him, please let him know this. Please let him know he will not get a 4th term. I don't know what the hell went on with this city, how they could voted him in a 3rd time. I think that election was rigged, because I would have voted for an apple over this guy. An orange, anything. Let's see. We got some more timing. More time here. Also, big box retailers rationing ammo. Apparently, they're taking aim on the ammo shortage. Apparently, Homeland Security is buying all this ammo. And, yeah, let's go to this call. Homeland Security is buying up all the ammo. And, yeah, that's why there's an ammo shortage. Caller, you are on the air. Really quick. We got about a minute left.
Hey, what up? I want to say I like your show. I just, my second time tuning in. I love what you just said about Doomberg. I call him Doomberg. He is a piece of shit.
Here.
And also, the installment of that dirtbag Quinn would be horrible. I don't know what to say, man. This is a great show. I'm sorry I called in the last few minutes. I'll try to call in next week or something like that. The Boston thing was totally a farce. The Connecticut deal was bamboozlement. We got to stay encouraged. We got to keep our limits alive and stay vigilant. At the same time, these politicians, they don't have us in mind. There's something else going on. And the guy called in earlier about the conspiracy theory about the UFOs. Oh, man, that's just what they put out there. The bottom line is we're going to martial law, and we need to stay in shape, and we need to stay vigilant. We need to protect our kids. And I want to give a shout out to all those beautiful young girls in Cleveland and all the other children and women that we don't know about. I want to say, you take care, brother, and I'll call you next week. You well.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate the call. Great call. We're about out of time. We got about less than 60 seconds left. So I will end with this quick article. Retired Army captain warns DHS acquisitions are bold threat of war against the American people. Yes, he says that the Department of Homeland Security is preparing for war against the American people. American people, this is my last show from the Firehouse. We will be back at the original studio at 59th Street. Thank goodness. Oh, brothers, I love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. God bless America. God save the Constitution. And if you have received this transmission, then you are the resistance.